Okay, section 5, an introduction to products versus vessels. So this is hopefully a relatively short section and video. It does introduce us to a very important concept, which we're going to explain at a high level here, and then later on in training we'll go into more detail, and it will be particularly relevant when you start entering new products into the database. So let's think about this. So when you start thinking about products which we're going to track, for instance Coors Light or Jack Daniels or Barefoot Cabernet, you think in terms of, okay, I'm going to see how those products are doing at my bar, and those are products. Similarly, our system is based on tracking products and reporting how products perform at a bar. However, in practical terms, when you are counting products or entering the invoices, it's relevant to think about what sizes they're kept in. For instance, Jack Daniels is the product, but Jack Daniels comes in both 750 milliliter bottles or more commonly in liter bottles. So both of those bottles contain Jack Daniels, that's the product, but we would use the terminology that they're two different vessels. So vessel is a specific size of a specific product, whereas a product is just the product, and it doesn't sort of pertain to a particular size, it's just Jack Daniels. So using this example, Jack Daniels and Jack Daniels 750 are the different vessels which contain the same product. And then without boring you or going into too much details, why is this important to us in inventory service? Well, whenever we're counting or we're entering invoices, it's obviously critical that we pay attention and see, hey, is this half a bottle of a litre bottle or half a bottle of a 750? And equally, obviously, when we have a case of Jack Daniels comes in, it is very relevant to know if it's a case of 12 750s or 7 litre bottles, because that affects how much product was delivered. Another example, we care about, for counting and for invoicing, it's very important that we keep track of the size of a vessel, so that we can collapse it all together. But the clients don't care about what sizes they're using. They just want to know about Jack Daniels overall. So when we're writing the recipes, in order to match up our usage with our sales, we're writing recipes at the product level. So we're not distinguishing between the 750, and the reason is, if we wrote all the recipes for the 750 milliliter bottles and then they decide to switch up and use liters, we'd have to then go and rewrite all those recipes to the different size, which doesn't make sense. So I said what we do in practice is we collapse all the different sized, if we have different sizes of the same product, we'll collapse those bottles together, so we have the total usage and sales of Jack Daniels compared. More in that in more detail, but basically it's all to do with the necessity to combine them together, so we track the usage of the product overall, and basically collapse them together achieves the aim of making this show on a single line report. And then final word on this is that liquor category is the only category where we collapse different sizes. The reason for that is that it's not super common, but it does happen somewhat frequently that bars have different size vessels of the same product, and it's therefore important to collapse them together. In contrast, it's pretty damn rare for bars to have different sizes at the same time of draft beer. In bottled beers, we wouldn't collapse them because they would sell separately. They'd either sell the 12-ounce bottle or maybe the 22-ounce bottle. There'd be different sizes or different prices and complete different sales, so that wouldn't make sense to collapse those. And then in the wine category, again, very rare. Most bars are going to have one size or the other of a particular type of wine, and it's important we don't collapse, even if they happen to have, like Barefoot has both 750 milliliter bottles and liter and a half. We do not collapse those together. It will make their reports look a little bit funky, and what we'd honestly do is encourage them to decide whether they want to have one size or the other. They could run using both sizes, but it would be confusing for counting, and it would also be confusing for the reporting. But that's just a quick introductory word on the difference between products and vessels.